Welcome to Mindfully Integrative Podcast with your host, Dr. Damaris G. Mindfully Integrative is a podcast discussing ways toward mindfully incorporating integrative health into our lives. This podcast will have informative resources, fun topics, interviews, and discussions relatable for today with a true mindful perspective in a mind-body, holistic life approach.
Hi, how are you? This is Damaris Maria Grossman, and this is the Mindfully Integrative Show. And today we have a mindful chat with Magic Barclay. She has her own business in holistic natural health. She is from down under, but she helps people worldwide in getting to root cause, aromatherapy, functional health, immune health, gut health. She has so much that she's done in her business. And I can't wait to learn more about her and how she got to where she is today. Hi, nice to meet you, Magic. I love the name too.
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
That's so cool. So first, I always say, what's a fun fact that people don't know about you?
Oh my goodness. A fun fact that people don't know about me is that I do medieval LARP with my kids. So I dress up as a medieval healer, so an old time version of myself, and I go and beat people up with foam staves and swords.
Oh my gosh. So you're like dressing into like their clothes and then like fighting and stuff?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep, totally.
Oh, that's pretty fun. And how often do you get to do that?
We do that once a week. And it's great stress relief. Yeah, great stress relief for parents. It's the only time you can actually legally challenge your kids is on field.
That's hilarious. Oh my God, oh my God, you have to do like a YouTube channel of just that alone. People would love it. Yeah, that sounds really fun. I've never done that, but I've heard of it.
It's cool.
It's called LARPing, right? LARP?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
What does that stand for again? Oh my gosh. LARP.
Live action role play.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've never done that, but it looks like fun. So tell me more about yourself and how, you kind of came into this chronic illness, holistic health business, and what exactly got you to where you are now?
Yeah, look, I came from a fitness industry background, and, there was always something niggling. Why was I feeling pain? Why was I losing sensation in my hands? Why did I just feel really unwell? And, as time went on, I found out I had numerous conditions, including cancer and autoimmune. And as I closed down my gym life, things got worse. And it was through that journey of multiple chronic illnesses that I got into this health and wellness space. And that was because I didn't find the answers that I needed in mainstream medicine. I also didn't find them with naturopathy. I'd seen so many different naturopaths, and everyone was treating the symptoms. No one was treating the root cause of why did I get sick. And there was, some shared root causes with each condition. So that's how I got into this space. I joined a small group of practitioners who are Wholistic Natural Health Australia. And, until, my gosh, even just a couple of years ago, we were in clinics. And so now we're fully remote online and we're servicing people all around the world. And yeah, that's where we are.
That's amazing. I love it. And so for you, your journey of autoimmune issues and cancer, do you want to talk more about that? How exactly did that come about? Was it just that you're working out and started to just feel pains, or how did you find out about that?
Well, I was working out like a demon. In fact, I was powerlifting and I just couldn't drop some weight. Like that last 10 kilos, they always joke about, that last 10 kilos is a killer. Right, that last 10 kilos nearly was a killer. And nothing had changed in my life. I was still working out. I was still eating well. I had high stress, but, nothing else had changed. And my weight was accelerating back on. And I went, it wasn't just the last 10 kilos, something else is here. So I sought out numerous health professionals in mainstream medicine, and I was dismissed. I was, told, eat less, exercise more. It was kind of impossible. I was working in a gym 9 hours a day and working out for about 6 of those, with other people and eating like a sparrow would eat. And, so that wasn't the key. And I started seeing, that the whole blame the patient was a theme. And that wasn't a theme that sat comfortably with me because I knew it wasn't anything I was doing. I didn't know the stress had such a big part to play.
Right.
But, just the whole, it's all your fault, it's idiopathic, it's of no known cause. And I got told I had Munchausen's, I'm attention seeking.
Right.
Like, no, guys, something's really wrong. And it wasn't until I changed cities, I'd closed my gym down, and I saw a new doctor, and he went, actually, I'm straight out of school. I don't know much about this, but I think there's more going on here. And I finally felt like someone had heard me. He hadn't given me any answers, but I wasn't going crazy. So that was the start of all of it. Throwing myself into my studies and things really helped. I did have surgery to remove my cancer, but that's where I stopped with the mainstream medicine model. And after that, I really started looking at holism, how to treat the body as a whole, not something in isolation.
Right.
And, I'm really glad to say my autoimmune is under control. My cancer seems to be under control for now. And, I'm not being an ostrich and sticking my head in the sand. I keep an eye on my markers for all of that. And, life is great. I'm still probably a little bit heavier than I want to be. And I've developed a few new conditions from the surgery, but, I have enough energy every day to get through life. I get to enjoy myself, run around on the LARP field with my kids and somewhat keep up, even though I'm, 30 years older than everyone else on field. And, life is pretty good.
So you're enjoying it. You see a different take on life and you've made changes in your life that now you're trying to help other clients throughout where you live and through the world. What has impacted your clients or for your patients that you've seen?
I think the difference is treating root cause, not chasing the symptoms.
Agree. I couldn't agree more as a functional and integrative provider. Root cause. Yep. Really looking at what's going on, right?
Yeah. Not enough people do this. There's 13 different systems of the body and not enough people are going, but why are those systems having to
take
respond?
A step back. Let's take a step back. That's how I look at it. I try to be nice, but I'd be like, let's just take a step back and see what's up. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, someone comes to me, for example, with, all the symptoms of menopause. Okay. Just really blanket example that everyone knows about. And they say, I've got the hot flashes and I'm getting the belly weight and, I'm snappy and irritable and I've got the night sweats, but that's normal. It's menopause. And I go, actually, no. Menopause, which is adrenopause, because it's the change from your brain ovary axis making the hormones to your brain adrenal axis making the hormones. Something's not quite right there because menopause should be like it was back in the day. Women just stopped having babies. That was the symptom. That was the only thing they noticed. Now we've got the hot flashes and the night sweats and the irritability and the weight gain and thin skin and bone pain and all this sort of stuff. It's like, why is this happening? I get that you're low on estrogen, you've probably got high cortisol, but why? It's one thing knowing, the symptoms being hormone imbalance, but there's another thing knowing why that's happening. And so, certainly for me, I've mentioned, when I was chronically ill, stress was a big thing. That was also a big thing for me going into menopause because I'd become a cortisol junkie without knowing it. I had to run on, the wolf is chasing me and there's a brick wall there and now I can't run any further. That was my preset for life. So I had to change that. And once I did that and a number of other things, for me, menopause went a lot smoother. So I was no longer stuck in the run for your life mode. I was more, okay, this is happening today. That's cool. I've had an argument with my kids. okay, it's an argument now. It's not going to affect me for the rest of my life,
Right.
And so a lot of us just get stuck in these patterns and we chase the symptoms. I didn't chase down my hot flashes and my night sweats. I chased down, why am I stuck in a cortisol pattern? So, there's a big difference there. And I think once we start looking at the root cause, we can really unravel a number of things.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I think when you start to see where things are, where peeling back the onion of things that are happening in your life, then it doesn't seem like, oh, it's just this one part. It's like, oh, wait, what else did I see here? What else did I see here? In addition to you finding root causes, you found you have now also you work a lot in aromatherapy, correct?
Yes. So a couple of months ago, we actually launched our excuse me. A couple of months ago, we actually launched our therapeutic blend essential oils.
Mm-hmm.
And they are all handcrafted, hand blended, no fillers, all therapeutic oils used. Yep. And we're really glad to say they are on our website in the shop. And we go to different markets that we're invited to and sell there in Australia. But, these oils are available worldwide. We can ship anywhere that you are. And there's 25 blends treating 25 different conditions. And yes, the oils address the symptoms, but that gives you a little bit of leeway to find the root cause. So the wonderful thing about essential oils is they can cross the blood-brain barrier. They can treat a number of conditions. So we have some antifungals, we have some adrenal support, we have antibacterials and, a couple of other antimicrobials. And, we treat some specific conditions. Having said that, like I said, that gives you space to say, okay, now I've got relief from this. Here's what I need to do. So, I'm really proud of these essential oils and we've been working really hard to get them out there and now they're available.
That's amazing. Yeah, I know how much, it is to think about what's, the root cause of things and then, to have something that will complement your work and what you're doing for others. What has been your most popular thing that people have been coming to you for, things that you see on a repetitive basis? What's your big, you would say has been your repetitive conversation with someone, let's say, or condition?
Look, a lot really comes down to autoimmune. And, some people don't even know they've got autoimmune brewing. And so for me, it's looking at all the different immune types and on our root cause analysis, which is our complementary intake call, you can leave that with some really tangible stuff, whether you work with us or not. And one of the things we do is identify your immune type. And we look at why is the body going down this pathway? Why are you stuck in a certain immune type rather than flowing in and out of each of them as you're supposed to? And, so that's a big thing. Autoimmune is on the increase. It's really the lives that we live these days don't help our immune system. And so we're seeing a lot of that. That's probably the number one thing that we see people for.
Wow. Yeah, I think autoimmune is undervalued or not understood fully. And it's immediately want to suppress everything instead of really looking at more of a modulation and balance. And I think it's important to look at that in a whole picture approach instead of just throwing the big guns at it, shall we say?
Exactly. And you know what? We've actually become a population, and I'm saying, right across the world we do this. And this is, we not only chase symptoms, but we accelerate things like toxicity in our bodies. We live in such a convenience world. As I speak, I'm using electricity and I've got radiation from the computer and I've got lights on and, there's some plastics in the room and so they're off-gassing a little. This has become normal. And we really aren't doing ourselves any favors. So, as a population, we are setting ourselves up for failure. And it's just a few things that we can do every day to make some changes that will keep us healthy, keep our homes healthy, and give us a future.
Yeah. What would you recommend? Like, just if you did to advise those listening, those watching, just like one or two things that you'd like to leave the audience with a nice thought.
First thing is drink really well filtered water and filtered through minerals. You want to put back in, but we also can't absorb plain water. So put some lemon juice in it every single day. A little pinch of salt if you're heading into menopause or andropause, because, yeah, guys, you can get it too. And, just really support your adrenals. The other thing is, open a few windows and leave them open all year round. They just have to be open a crack, just so that you're letting some airflow into your home. We've become, tucked away into our little boxes of homes, and everything's airtight, and we don't let the winter in and we don't let the summer in, and we're also not letting airflow in. So, drink clean water, leave some windows open all year round, just a crack. And I guess the other thing is really look at the food that you're eating. And, we hear about eat seasonally and eat locally and eat organically, and all of those are important. Don't just pick up a packet because it's convenient.
Right.
Go to the effort of, even if you've got a balcony garden, grow your own herbs, grow your own carrots or lettuce or something like that. We shouldn't be terrified of a food shortage coming up in our lives if we're growing our own seasonal organic produce.
That makes a lot of sense, because I feel like when you're really looking at the most whole non-processed foods, what you're putting in your body is important. Question for you in reference to, what is your favorite whole food, or do you do like some like regimen in the morning?
So I actually don't eat for 16 hours a day.
Oh, okay. You're intermittent. Yeah, no problem.
Intermittent fasting. So for me, my morning routine is get up, go for a walk, have a sauna, have my shower, have some structured water. So, my water, I'll have essential oils, a little bit of salt, a little bit of lemon juice. I'll have some binders in there or some minerals, and of course the water. So that's my morning routine. My go-to food at the moment, because I am eating seasonally and I grow a lot of my own food, at the moment I am just loving my peas. So my peas are a little bit late to produce their fruit, and I'm loving them. They're very, very sweet, and I can only eat a few at a time, but loving those. And look, I'm just really grateful for anything my garden delivers. I'm harvesting potatoes now to store for winter. My kids eat a lot of potatoes. So, I'm really loving that I can start from a seed and end up with something on my kids' dinner plate. And
I love it.
Yeah,
I think that's great. I'm not the best gardener, but I feel like I try to at least do the herbs if I can. But I think you're right. The more straight from the earth to your plate, farm to table you can get, it's got to be the way. Like I need to be more of that. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
So before we go, how can those reach you, and anything upcoming? I know you have your new aromatherapy line.
Yeah, so everything is on our website, which is www.wholisticnaturalhealth.com.au. So we are based in Australia, and that's holistic with a W in front of it. On there, you'll find our shop where all of our essential oil blends are located. You'll find our blog, competitions that we run. We're actually giving away an oil at the moment.
Oh, nice.
And we have, all of our socials are there, but you'll also find a link there to book our root cause analysis, which is a free call anywhere around the world. And, we can give you some answers that maybe you've been searching for.
I love it. So I appreciate you being on and taking the time for the listeners. And I can't wait for them to reach out to you and what you're doing for many clients around the world.
Thank you. It's been so great to finally be here. We've been chatting backwards and forwards, and I'm so glad we got to connect.
Me too. And I can't wait for more of those listeners to meet you and to find out more about you. And thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for being here and listening. And make sure you find a mindful way each and every day. Thank you for listening to the Mindfully Integrative Show with Dr. Damaris Maria Grossman, family nurse practitioner. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not to substitute for professional medical advice, diagnose, or treat. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your healthcare routine. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you enjoyed our show, please support us by leaving a mindful review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite streaming platform. Interested in being a guest or more information? Email us at info@mindfullyintegrative.com. For resources mentioned in the show, visit our website at www.mindfullyintegrative.com. You can also connect mindfully with Dr. Damaris on her social media links found on the site. May your strength and peace guide you to find a mindful way every day. Namaste.